If you will talk to yourself like this for just 7 days, your whole life will begin to shift in ways you can't even imagine right now. You see, most people think they are just thinking all day. No, they're talking. And most of the time, they are talking themselves out of their blessing instead of into it. Your words are not just sounds, they are seeds. And if you keep planting negative seeds, don't be surprised when you keep harvesting a negative life. But if you start planting words of power, words of faith, words of gratitude, words of identity, you will change your world because you will change yourself first. You have to stop talking like life is happening to you and start talking like you were sent here to happen to life. For the next 7 days, I want you to command your day when you wake up. Speak to yourself like the king or queen you were designed to be. Tell yourself who you are. Tell yourself what you are called to do, and tell yourself why you are unstoppable. Most people wake up and complain about what's wrong. Winners wake up and command what's right. When you talk to yourself, don't speak as who you were last week. Don't speak as the tired, broke, discouraged version of you. Speak as the future you, the successful you, the powerful you. Because if you can speak it, you can become it. You're not waiting to see it before you believe it. You believe it first, and that's why you'll see it later. Identity comes before outcomes. You don't make $1 million and then feel like a millionaire. You feel like a millionaire, talk like a millionaire, think like a millionaire, and then the millions chase you down. Every morning, you ought to thank God, not just for what you have, but for what's already on its way. Gratitude isn't just about being nice. Gratitude is a magnet for miracles. When you give thanks in advance, you pull the future into your present, you make the invisible visible. When you start to live like that, you don't wait for blessings. Blessings start waiting for you. Talk possibility, not probability. Most of the world lives in the land of probability. They say, well, most people don't succeed. Well, the odds are against you. Listen, the odds are supposed to be against you. That's what makes it a miracle when you win. You're not called to live by what's probable. You're called to live by what's possible. And all things are possible to him or her that believes. And lastly, be specific. Speak details. Vague goals get vague results. You don't just say, I'm blessed. You say, I am a highly favored entrepreneur earning $500,000, 0 cents a year, impacting millions, living in abundance, walking in purpose, speaking life everywhere I go. That kind of specificity moves you into alignment. The universe doesn't respond to half-hearted wishes. It responds to clear declarations. 7 days. That's all I'm asking you to give yourself. 7 days of talking to yourself like your breakthrough already happened. 7 days of speaking like you are already the person you were created to be. 7 days of commanding your atmosphere instead of surrendering to it. Watch what happens. Watch how people react to you differently. Watch how ideas find you, how doors open, how opportunities chase you down. You talk to yourself like this for just 7 days, and you'll never go back to living like you used to. Your words are not just sounds you throw into the air. Your words are creative forces. Every time you open your mouth, you are either constructing your future or you are destructing your future. You are never neutral when you speak. Every sentence is a seed, and every seed will eventually produce a harvest. Some people wonder why their life feels like a struggle, why every door feels closed, why opportunities seem to slip through their fingers. Now, it's not because the world is against them, it's because their words have been against them. You cannot consistently speak defeat and expect to live in victory. You cannot speak limitation every day and expect to experience expansion. Your words set the boundaries of your life. If you keep saying, I'm tired, I'm broke, I can't do it, nothing ever works for me, then don't be surprised when you feel more tired, more broke, more stuck, and more defeated. You're watering the wrong garden. You're strengthening the very reality you claim you want to escape from. Life is voice activated. It responds not just to what you wish for in your heart, but what you declare with your mouth. You have to understand, your life right now is echoing the conversations you've been having with yourself when no one else was listening. Instead of talking about what you don't want, start speaking what you do want. Instead of talking about what went wrong, speak about what is about to go right. Instead of magnifying your problems, magnify your possibilities. Speak the kind of life you want to live. Speak the kind of success you want to experience. Speak the kind of strength you want to embody. When you align your words with your dreams, you pull your dreams out of the invisible realm and you drag them into reality. God didn't create the world by wishing or by thinking quietly. He spoke, "Let there be light," and light showed up. If speaking brought creation into existence at the beginning of time, what makes you think speaking won't bring creation into your own life today? You are made in that image. You have the power to declare things into existence, not because you are magic, but because your words carry authority, faith, and energy. Words program your mind, they stir your spirit, they shift your perception, and when you shift your perception, you shift your reality. If you don't like the world you're living in, check the words you've been living by. Speak like a builder, not a breaker. Speak like a creator, not a complainer. When you take control of your tongue, you take control of your destiny. Every word is either moving you closer to your vision or further away from it. Choose words that serve you. Choose words that lift you. Choose words that create the world you were born to live in. Most people don't realize that the difference between living a life of power and living a life of pain often comes down to one thing: whether you command or whether you complain. When you complain, you surrender your authority. You hand over your power to your problems. You announce to the world that your circumstances are stronger than you are. Complaining is the language of victims. It keeps you trapped exactly where you are, rehearsing the same frustrations over and over again like a broken record. Every time you complain, you are reinforcing the chains you say you want to break. But when you command, you flip the script. You stop bowing to your situation and you start commanding your situation to bow to you. Life is not supposed to happen to you. You were sent here to happen to life. You were designed to speak to mountains, not to moan about them. Commanding doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means recognizing that your authority is greater than your adversity. It means standing up inside yourself and speaking direction into your day, speaking order into your chaos, speaking victory into your battles. When you wake up in the morning, you have a decision to make. You can either talk about the problems you see, or you can talk about the power you have. You can either magnify what's wrong, or you can magnify who you are. You are not at the mercy of your circumstances. You are the commander of your circumstances. But the command has to come from your mouth first. You can't sit there silently and expect the world to change around you. You have to open your mouth and release authority into your environment. Command your mind to think thoughts of strength. Command your emotions to align with your purpose. Command your hands to do the work, even when you don't feel like it. Command your atmosphere to shift by the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you carry yourself. Stop waiting for the weather to change. Be the weather. Be the storm that moves things forward. The truth is, complaining is easy. Anybody can find something wrong. It takes no creativity, no faith, and no power to point out problems. But commanding, that takes vision. That takes leadership. That takes boldness. That takes a person who refuses to be a prisoner of their environment and instead chooses to be a prophet to it, declaring not just what is, but what shall be. The next time you feel tempted to complain, catch yourself. Shift immediately. Don't describe the mess. Declare the mission. Don't whine about the setback. Command the comeback. Speak like someone who knows they were born to win. Speak like someone who knows they are not here to take orders from their fears, but to give orders to their future. Command, don't complain, and watch your life start obeying your voice. Most people chase outcomes, but they forget that outcomes are just the shadows of identity. If you focus only on what you want to achieve without first focusing on who you must become, you will always end up frustrated, burnt out, and empty. Identity comes before outcome. You don't get the results and then decide you're worthy. You decide you're worthy and the results follow. The world doesn't pay you for what you want. It rewards you for who you are. Every outcome you're chasing right now, the money, the influence, the body, the business, the lifestyle, is waiting on you to step into the identity that matches it. Success isn't something you stumble into by accident. It's something you grow into by design. And the way you design it starts with your words, your thoughts, and your beliefs about yourself. If you keep seeing yourself as small, weak, incapable, or unworthy, you will sabotage every opportunity that comes your way because the inside always wins over the outside. You can't outperform the identity you've accepted. You can grind, you can hustle, you can force yourself for a little while, but eventually your identity will pull you back to the level you really believe you belong at. That's why you don't wait until you have the outcome to call yourself successful. You call yourself successful now. You walk like it, you talk like it, you think like it, you move like it, and the outcome will have no choice but to show up and match the identity you've already been living. When a king walks into a room, he doesn't need a crown on his head for you to know he's royalty. His posture says it. His energy says it. His speech says it. He's been trained in who he is. The crown is just a symbol. The identity was there first. It's the same with you. Stop waiting for the external sign to confirm what you must first establish internally. You don't get the promotion and then become a leader. You lead yourself first. You don't get the $1 million and then feel abundant. You live abundantly first, and then the money finds its way to you. It's an inside-out game, not outside in. Identity first, outcome second. Speak like the person you are becoming. Think like the person who already has what you desire. Move like the person who has already overcome what you're struggling with. Act like the future version of you is coaching you through today, because that future version of you is real, and the only reason you haven't met them yet is because you haven't consistently lived like them yet. Outcomes are echoes. They are the world reflecting back to you the truth of what you have chosen to believe about yourself. Change the belief, change the identity, and the outcome has no choice but to change. The most powerful thing you can do today is to stop chasing and start becoming. Identity first, outcome second, every time. Gratitude isn't just good manners, it's a growth strategy. Most people think gratitude is what you do after you win. They think it's what you say when the check clears, when the business grows, when the dream finally happens. But true gratitude isn't reactive, it's proactive. Gratitude is what you practice before the victory. And because you practiced it, the victory shows up faster. Gratitude is the fertilizer that makes everything you've planted grow at a supernatural rate. It multiplies your momentum. It expands your capacity. It magnetizes opportunities that hard work alone could never attract. When you wake up every day already thankful for what you have and what's on the way, you send a signal that you are ready for more. And life does not give more to people who despise what they have. Life multiplies in the hands of those who appreciate. When you say thank you for the little, you're making room for the much. When you can praise in the hallway, you won't be waiting long for the door to open. Gratitude isn't weakness, it's warfare. It's how you fight against doubt. It's how you stay rooted when things get tough. It's how you keep your heart aligned with abundance when your eyes are still staring at lack. Some people walk around complaining about how slow things are moving, and they don't even realize their ungrateful spirit is putting the brakes on their blessing. You cannot curse the ground you expect to harvest from. You cannot talk down your life and expect it to rise up. Gratitude lifts you into a frequency where solutions, creativity, favor, and miracles can find you faster. It keeps you mentally and spiritually aligned for growth. It keeps your eyes on what's working, not just what's missing. Every day you have a choice. Magnify the problems or magnify the promises. Magnify what's missing or magnify what's coming. Gratitude says, I see more than what's wrong, I see what's possible. Gratitude says, even if it's not perfect yet, I'm preparing myself for overflow. And preparation is what invites acceleration. Some doors don't open because you aren't prepared to handle what's behind them yet. Gratitude gets you ready. Gratitude trains your heart for elevation. It conditions your spirit for expansion. When you live in gratitude, you start growing at a pace the old you could never keep up with. You stop needing external proof to stay encouraged. You stop waiting on circumstances to give you permission to be happy. You start moving like someone who knows they're already blessed, already chosen, already favored. And because you move like that, you attract what belongs to that identity. Gratitude is not the finish line, it's the fuel. It's not the reward, it's the requirement. When you master gratitude, you don't just grow, you explode. Most people live their entire lives trapped by probability. They think in terms of odds, statistics, and chances. They let the numbers define them. They say things like most businesses fail, or the odds are against me, or people like me don't usually make it. And because they keep speaking the language of limitation, they keep living a life of limitation. But probability is the language of the crowd. Possibility is the language of the courageous. You weren't designed to live by the rules of what's likely. You were designed to live by the laws of what's possible. When you talk about probability, you shrink your dream down to the size of what's typical, but when you talk about possibility, you expand your dream up to the size of what's available. Possibility means you understand that just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it can't happen now. It means you believe that new outcomes can be created, new paths can be forged, new realities can be birthed by faith, by action, and by relentless belief. Possibility isn't limited by precedent. It doesn't need permission from history. It only needs your agreement. If you only ever do what seems probable, you'll only ever get what most people get: average results, average income, average happiness. But if you dare to speak possibility, to focus your energy on what could be instead of what usually is, you position yourself for an extraordinary life. Talking about possibility pulls your mind out of survival mode and puts it into creation mode. It frees you from the gravitational pull of mediocrity and launches you into the orbit of greatness. The crowd will always remind you of the risks, but possibility reminds you of the reward. The crowd will always list the reasons why it won't work, but possibility shouts back all the reasons why it must. You don't need a guarantee to move forward. You don't need a permission slip from the statistics. All you need is a clear vision, a spoken declaration, and the courage to move even when the numbers say you shouldn't. You are not here to fit into the mold of probability. You are here to break it. You are not here to match the averages. You are here to redefine them. You are not here to survive inside the limits of what's typical. You are here to thrive inside the limitless space of what's possible. So start talking like it. Speak possibility until your mind believes it. Speak possibility until your actions match it. Speak possibility until the impossible. Probability is what the world expects. Possibility is what you were created for. Never lower your language to the level of the crowd. Always lift your conversation to the level of your calling. Vague goals create vague lives. If you want to see real change, if you want to walk in real power, you have to be relentlessly specific about what you want, who you are, and where you're going. You cannot afford to live in generalities and expect to experience greatness. When you are vague, you confuse your mind. When you are vague, you dilute your power. But when you get specific, you give your mind clear instructions. You give your faith a sharp target. You give your energy a direct assignment. And that's when things start moving fast. You can't just say, I want to be successful. What does that mean? Success looks different for everyone. You have to paint the picture so clearly that when you speak it, you can see it, you can feel it, you can taste it. Success isn't just something you stumble upon, it's something you design in advance with your words and your vision. Specificity is how you program your mind for the mission. When your mind has a clear mission, it starts finding ways to make it real. It looks for resources. It attracts people. It notices opportunities that your old, vague self would have missed. When you pray, be specific. When you plan, be specific. When you speak over your life, be specific. Don't just say, I want more money. How much money? By when? Doing what? Don't just say, I want to get in shape. What does that look like? What weight? What strength level? What daily habits? Don't just say, I want to be happy. What specifically makes you happy? What life experiences light you up? Specificity pulls the dream out of fantasy and into focus. Being relentlessly specific also forces you to get real about your commitment. Vague dreams are safe because you never have to be honest about whether you're moving toward them. But a specific dream puts a demand on your action. It holds you accountable. It forces you to measure your movement. It makes it clear whether you're building or just busy. Specificity requires courage, because once you name it, now you're responsible for chasing it. Your destiny doesn't respond to daydreams, it responds to declarations, and declarations that move heaven and earth are clear, targeted, and bold. You have to see it before you seize it, and you see it by being specific. Paint the vision in full color, speak the vision in full detail, walk toward the vision with full intensity. General dreams produce general results. Specific dreams produce specific victories. The clearer you are, the faster you move.